Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. Well, I am currently in Istanbul, Turkey. Not where I expected that I would be today. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the Russian invasion that began yesterday at 4 a.m. into Ukraine. In my last video, I was sharing with you my thoughts about I was about to evacuate Ukraine, and I've been in Istanbul for more than a week. I'm going to fill you in on what I've been doing here. Then I'm going to share with you how some of my Ukrainian friends are feeling, as well as how I'm feeling about the whole situation and what I'm planning to do next. I'd also like to throw in, I know why most of you subscribed, and this is not a wartime news channel by any means. This is a channel about magic! Inappropriate? Well, anyways, I'm just talking about this because this whole situation has affected me personally, and now I'm officially homeless. Well, I'm inside of a home. I'm in an Airbnb right now, but I don't have a place to call my home right now. At any rate, I'll still be uploading magic content. In fact, I'm 95% finished with a new one, a great tutorial that I'm really excited to share with you. Been working on it a long time, and that all got interrupted when I had to suddenly evacuate Ukraine. So I'm hoping soon I will have a chance to finish that, and more magic will be coming your way. All right, so first topic, Russia has invaded Ukraine. Full-on invasion on multiple fronts. I'm sure most of you have already heard about this in the news now, so I'm not going to rehash everything. But there are missile strikes, bombs, there are tanks, there are soldiers, there's everything you would imagine in a war. Could this be the beginning of World War III? If NATO and Russia start fighting each other, perhaps Russia and China will form an axis. Who knows what could be happening? It's completely unexpected. It's horrible. It's terrible. It's shocking. You can just go to the news now and see things exploding in the sky over Ukraine, things on fire. I'm in touch with a lot of my friends, many of them who have evacuated already. And by the way, when the invasion just suddenly started at 4 a.m. yesterday, they locked down the airspace so you can't fly out of there. People are trying to flee on cars or by the train. And some of my friends are still there, and they're sharing clips with me of like, you know, there are people in bomb shelters seeking refuge. There are some people staying at home. And there are some people down in the subway system, in the metro, just sitting there on the platform, just waiting, not sure what to do. They were thinking about going back up, and then they hear like shelling and explosions, and they go back down. So it's absolutely unreal and horrible, and I really feel for those people who are stuck there and trying to escape. At this moment, I would like to mention, apparently there is a national bank, and they've set up some place where you can donate money if you want to help support Ukraine, specifically money to help support the troops in the army there to defend themselves against Russia. I don't personally know a lot about this national bank, but I've been assured by Ukrainian friends that it's a very stable and respectable organization to donate money to. Anyway, I'll put a link down below in the pinned comment to that if you feel like helping out. One more thing I wanted to add is that now people can stop claiming that this whole Russia thing is fake news. Some propaganda from the West to distract from their domestic problems. You know, so many people were commenting, it's just the West, the news outlets, fear-mongering. They want to distract from the inflation rate and all the problems in the US. But I mean, now it's evident to everyone who can see Russia is the aggressor. They are attacking Ukraine on all fronts. I'm assuming there's no one debating what's happening anymore or if it's real. You know, in the past there were like, with World War II, there were like Holocaust deniers and stuff like this who said, this didn't really happen, or the people who say that the earth is flat and they really believe that. But I was just thinking, you know, in today's era where everyone has a smartphone and everyone has Instagram and can upload stories, like now it's got to be indisputable. It would be impossible for so many sources to fabricate something like this. So that's kind of a interesting thing about our current technology age that we are in. And I'm sure that Russia will still try to spin this some way, you know, with their propaganda, like, they're just defending some group of people, you know, Russia's innocent, we're helping out. That's my 2 cents on that topic. I don't want to beat a dead horse, and now I'm going to fill you in on what's happened to me personally since I left Ukraine and arrived here in Turkey. By the way, isn't it a little bit strange that I'm in Turkey, but there are actually way more cats everywhere? Okay, so anyway, I was in a huge hurry. I packed things as fast as I could. I tried to identify what was the most essential when I was leaving Kyiv and flying to Turkey. But in the back of my head, I really thought what I was doing was unnecessary. I thought I was just acting in an abundance of caution, you know? I thought for sure I'd be back there. So when I was selecting things to put in my suitcase, I was pretty aggressive in trying to take what I needed, but I wish I had taken more. You know, there were some things I left there. My point is that even though I left to come to Turkey in advance, even I didn't really think that a full-on invasion like this would happen. You know, I'm so glad that I followed my parents' strong advice to come do this. So grateful. Thank you, parents. So anyway, I grabbed a bunch of stuff. I've got this camera, I've got this microphone, which you can't see because I've cleverly placed it off screen. You know, I got my laptop, my cell phone. I've got only like 8 shirts again. That's depressing. I don't have any shorts. Anyway, I got about 1 hour of sleep. You know, I expected problems, like even getting an Uber to get to the airport. I thought things could be jammed up, but it was all smooth sailing. Looking out the plane window, wow, I cannot believe how huge this place is. I think the sheer size, I've never been in a place so big, specifically a city so big. By the way, I apologize if this video is slowly getting darker. I don't have my lights with me, so I'm just using the outdoors light, and I think the sun is setting. And I'm sure that's what you all really care about. Okay, I just bumped up the ISO on my camera. Hopefully you can see me better now. So Istanbul, what have I been doing here? Well, as I mentioned, I really didn't think things were serious, so I was just kind of sightseeing, like working during the day. I have my laptop. You know, I've connected with several magicians here who reached out to me on Instagram, and so I was doing a lot of sightseeing around Istanbul. And doing magic jams with these other magicians. We just sat down and talking magic. In fact, the night before the invasion started, this one magician invited me to be the guest of honor, to be a speaker for their local magic club. So I went to a cafe they set up, and I was speaking to a group of like 17 Turkish magicians here in the city, and kind of giving my life story, explaining about the YouTube channel. And it was a really fun time. We all had good laughs. We all shared magic with each other. And then the next morning, waking up to this unbelievable news of this invasion. Absolutely crazy. I will show you, they even gave me kind of a little honorarium type thingy, like to represent this visiting with their magic group. It's pretty cool. There I am. And so I'm going to make a totally separate video about my experience in Istanbul. I have a lot of cool video and shots I want to share with you. That'll be a separate video coming later. Now I'd like to talk about how some of my Ukrainian friends are feeling. As I said, probably most of my friends have left Ukraine already. And for those friends, I spoke to them yesterday when this happened, and they are in just complete shock and disbelief. You know, one of them was telling me how it seems like a dream, like so surreal. Like you keep having to say, like, am I gonna wake up? Is this, your brain isn't willing to accept that this terrible, horrible invasion is happening right now, and to your own home country, you know, where you've grown up. You can look at the map. They have these maps online where they have like these points of attack. It's just all over the country. And you can also look at the other map and they show there's like no planes flying around Ukraine anymore. As I mentioned, the airspace has been shut down. You know, my friends were saying they're this shock, you know? I think they're in shock. They can't focus on any one thing for too long. They're just getting distracted. They're especially just sad and scared for their family, because a lot of them still have family and parents who are living perhaps in smaller towns. There's a lot of younger Ukrainians who've come from smaller towns, and they left their family to come to like the bigger cities like Kyiv to seek, like, you know, a bigger career and a better job. So you have this situation where some people might feel comfortable leaving, but other people, like, their home is there, they're comfortable there, they're not going to go, they're not going to leave. They would be the last people to evacuate. Anyway, that's the perspective I'm getting from people, and a lot of people who are trying to leave now, you know, trying to get a taxi. Some people paying about $400 to get a taxi all the way to the Polish border because, you know, supply and demand. If everyone wants a taxi right now, there are limits placed on how much people can withdraw money from the banks. I believe people aren't even allowed to buy US dollars or euros with their hryvnia now because they don't want everyone doing that, so it's like locked down. In fact, when I woke up and found out about this, I had breakfast, I got dressed, and then I went out to try to exchange the hryvnia that I have. The hryvnia is the Ukrainian currency. I had about $1,500 worth of it in cash that I took when I left. And I went out to some currency exchanges, and they were giving me such a rate that for my $1,500, in hryvnia, if I wanted to get it into US dollars, they were going to give me $900 back. Ouch! You know? And the guys was telling me, yeah, sorry, you know, Ukraine and Russia at war. So I'm thinking like, well, I don't know. The currency could get even worse. Who knows what's going to happen? So, and just standing there trying to think what to do, I just decided, okay, I'll sell half of it. Anyway, that's what I did in the moment. Now I'll share with you how I'm feeling about this whole situation, how it's affecting me personally. First off, I feel very lucky that I got out before all this happened and they shut down the flights. Second off, I'm very concerned for those people who still are in Ukraine and who are suffering from this attack, you know? There are lines of people trying to buy food and get water. I'm hoping the internet doesn't get cut off over there. Imagine losing communication. So I know that's a terrible situation over there. But thankfully, my family is safe in Texas in the United States, so I don't have to worry about them. The things that are affecting me personally, the things that I'm stressed out about are finances, primarily finances. And that's a good thing to be worried about. That's a good thing I'm not worried about losing my life. You know, I'm very fortunate. But every person is concerned, you know, with the biggest threats and dangers that they are personally facing. So yeah, I'm concerned because I left my home. You know, I'm nostalgic about my home. That's where I've been for the last 4 years. A whole lot of my stuff is still over there. That makes me sad. As I said, I wish I had packed more. My YouTube silver play button for getting 100,000 subscribers is there. It's actually still packed in the box. I haven't touched it. You know, there was a time where I was really looking forward to that, and getting that was kind of like a waypoint in my mind that I had achieved something, that my gamble to quit my job and to become a YouTuber was correct, that I was not totally mistaken. So that's in my apartment in Kyiv in Ukraine, where I can't touch it. Also over there, my little Aesop's Fables book that I did on all these videos, that has huge sentimental value to me. It's not worth much, but you know, and these things are just stuff, just things, right? Who cares about material possessions? But I find myself thinking about these things. It's weird, you know? I'm thinking to myself, it's weird, why are you fixating on these things? But my mind is kind of going through an inventory of all the things that I left there. My clothes. You know how much time you spend when you go to the mall and you're shopping for clothes and you're trying to find something that makes you look at least decent? Probably each shirt in my closet represents like 2 hours of my time, 2 hours of my life, and so on and so forth with all the other things you decide to add into your life, you know, YouTube equipment, the lights. Here I'm just racing against the setting sun. I know, I should have filmed earlier. That's on me. And who knows, maybe at some point in the future, I'll be able to go back there and get these things or not. There's a lot of uncertainty in this situation. Speaking of finances, I'll share with you a little tidbit. My YouTube revenue is 60% down the last 2 months, so that's exciting. I guess probably lose my $1,000 deposit on my apartment. I'm thinking, like, should I contact my landlord and ask him if I'm gonna get that back? Because, you know, he's in a country where they're being attacked. Is that even appropriate for me to ask? And my magic tricks. If you really want to talk about lost time, each of my magic tricks I probably spent 3 hours researching, watching reviews. I have 2 whole boxes that I've collected over the last 15 years. I'm just thinking in terms of like units of your life, like time you spent to amass these things that, and they're not just like physical things like made out of atoms and molecules, like they allow you to do stuff. Like, what is a guitar except that it allows you to express your hobby, your talent? What is a notebook except that you could record your thoughts? What are my magic tricks except extremely cool, and I miss them already? So I'm stressed about that. That's something I'm stressing about. By the way, no obligation, but if you do feel, for whatever reason, if you're able to, if you feel like helping out, I do have my Patreon. I'll put that in the pinned comment below as well. You could support at any level. There's all different levels. Or not. That's totally fine. Just mentioning that as an option. Again, I have to consider the fact that I'm lucky I got out of there in time. And really my heart is there for all these people. I'm hoping that the damage will be minimal. I wish that Russia would stop attacking. I wish that NATO would get involved, would jump in. I wish the US would do something and stop Russia. But at the same time, if that happens, I guess it'll be World War III. We don't want that. But if you wait too long, maybe it's going to be World War III anyway, and they should have acted earlier when they could. So I don't even know what's best there, but I kind of feel in my heart that I wish that the US would go in physically with troops and defend the Ukrainian people. And lastly, my main next thing is to decide what country I should live in. And I need to, you know, assess the threat level of that country. Like, Poland is a country that I like, that I was considering, but it's also the neighbor of Ukraine. And what if things ramp up more and spill over into neighboring countries? You could say, Jason, that's impossible. Russia's not going to attack Poland because it's part of NATO, and that would be World War III, and Putin's crazy, but he's not stupid. He's not going to do that. Well, people also said that he wasn't going to full-on invade Ukraine too, and look what's happening now. So I think it's really hard to predict what will be happening next. So I'm assessing what countries I might go to. I was thinking Poland. A friend of mine was telling me I should go to Georgia, and I don't mean Georgia in the United States. There's a country called Georgia, kind of south of Russia, also next to Russia, so possibly not a good choice. But I have to consider other things beyond just threat level. I have to consider the economics. The cost of living in Georgia and in Poland and Ukraine are pretty good. I'm also considering staying here in Turkey because several months ago the dollar to Turkish lira changed dramatically. That makes it a lot more affordable for me to be here now. Another friend was telling me Slovakia is pretty affordable. Another person messaged me and invited me to join them there in Sofia, Bulgaria. Romania I've been to before, and the internet there is blazing fast. I tested it and got like 400 megabits per second. It's unbelievable. But they are just south of Ukraine, so also potentially in the danger zone. And I think not part of NATO? Not sure. And lastly, I was also considering Spain. Someone recommended to me Valencia. They said that was pretty nice. I found some websites that describe the internet speed for that country, because here I'm getting something like 10 to 20 megabits per second. It's quite terrible. And I was even thinking to do a live stream, but here I literally couldn't. It would be a disaster. So that's kind of my next thing. Yesterday was panicking all day long, talking to friends and family on calls all day long, and going to the gym once, because priorities about personal fitness and health. And today, while making this video, I wanted to record it before the sun went down, and my next step is really to sit down and decide what country I should go be in for the foreseeable future, because now I can't go back to my home that I've been in the last 4 years. I could go back to the United States, of course. I could do that, but you know, it's pretty expensive over there. And so I was thinking more to stay in Europe. And the next thing I'm focused on to decide what to do next is how to make more money. I was thinking even of the possibility of opening a second YouTube channel about a different topic, or I can even do, you know, I'd thrown around this idea before of doing like a Zoom video call magic show where I could perform magic for people. They could buy tickets and attend virtually. You know, that wouldn't exactly be YouTube, but it's still video and it's still magic, so it's still kind of all closely correlated. Speaking of which, if I were to do a magic show, would you be interested in attending? If you'd be interested in that kind of concept, I've got a newsletter and I've got this landing page where you can sign up for it. Promise I won't spam you. You can unsubscribe at any time you want to. So if you want to make sure not to miss if I announce some kind of Zoom magic show, I'll leave a link in the pinned comment below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're doing well. My heart is especially out there for all these people in Ukraine still. I hope the war will stop. I hope it's just terrible. Again, there is that link if you want to donate to help support the Ukrainian military. I'll put that link down in the pinned comment below. That being said, hope you're having a nice day. Hope you're having a great week. I know all of you have your own lives and your own concerns and things to go on with. So keep a smile on your face. Stay optimistic. Check the news. See what's going on. And I'll see you next time. Yup.